Hello, and welcome to Philip Brown's Computer Networking Lab. You're watching the instructional video called Active Directory with an Additional Domain Controller. Here we are on DC2. We're going to convert this into a domain controller also. It'll be the second domain controller in this domain. First, we'll pull up the server manager and verify that the IP address is a static IP address. Here we can see that it has a static IP address of 10.0.0.12 and it is pointing to itself as a DNS server. Now let's install the Active Directory. First we'll pull up the wizard for adding new roles, and we'll make it a local installation. We'll choose the Active Directory Domain Services and also choose to add the features that come with it. And then we'll click on Install to install the components of Active Directory. Okay, it's finished. Let's go ahead and close up the wizard. Okay, now that we installed the components, let's install the database. We're going to promote this server to a domain controller. Since this is a second domain controller, we want to add this domain controller to an already existing domain. So we'll make the first choice. And we'll have to choose credentials that the first domain controller will recognize. So we'll use Philip Brown as the domain and put in the administrative account for that domain. There, it found philipbrown.local. We'll choose that one and then OK. The credentials are already recognized, so we'll just click the next button. The DNS checkbox is grayed out because this server is already a DNS server. We can decide to uncheck the global catalog, but it's a good idea for us to keep it a global catalog, unless we have a very good reason not to. And I don't want this to be a read-only domain controller, so I won't check that. Here we have the site name called default first site name. We can change that in Site and Services. And we should put a password in case we need to recover information for Active Directory. It still does not recognize this DNS server as being authoritative for this domain, but that's okay for right now. We can use Active Directory information that's loaded onto a media, such as a flash drive, but I'm just going to download it from DC1. Here we can store the database externally by changing where it's located, but I'll leave it at the default. And now the wizard is going to check to see if we meet the requirements. It came up with 2 errors, but neither one of us will prevent it from installing Active Directory on it. Okay, the server has restarted. Notice that it has DC2 as the domain. I'm going to change it to Philip Brown, which is the new domain. We can see that we're back on DC2. I'll open up the server manager that the domain controller has been set up correctly. I'll open up Active Directory users and computers from the tools. Okay, it looks like everything is here. We could also check things like DNS and verifying that the databases were installed in their correct folders, but I'm satisfied that it's up and running correctly. In this video, we saw how to install an additional domain controller to an existing domain. In the next video, we're going to see how to join a client computer to the domain. I hope this video has been informative, and I thank you for viewing.